Hi guys, welcome back to SwitchUp. It has to be said, I'm pretty excited. I think there is one of the single best sales on within this sale that I've ever seen. Now this is mainly the EU eShop, but I think it applies to the US for most of the games. Be sure to check the price so you know which region to look in. I want to get into the sale because my goodness, there are some great ones. So, well, let's get into the list. Now, unlike every other channel ever that I've ever watched, I'm going to put that game that I'm talking about right at the beginning, and it is Doom 3 from Bethesda. It's currently 69% off to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Doom, which puts it at £2.40. It's a great game, and it's great on Switch, and at £2.40, just go and buy it now. Just see you later. See you later. My goodness. If you're not sure what it is, it's a first-person shooter that was originally back on PC. It was very well received there, but they ported it over lovingly to the Switch. And now it's 69% off. Well worth your money. Next up then, following in the same vein, we've got Doom 1 and 2, which are also massively reduced at the moment. I really can't recommend Doom 1 and 2 enough on Switch. The 1 to 4 player split screen is old school nostalgic, and they've increased the performance up to 60 frames per second on both titles. There's some big savings to be had, although it does end on the 2nd of March, so make sure you get in there nice and quick. Next up then, we've got the excellent port of Call of Juarez Gunslinger from Techland. Now this sale finishes on the 3rd, so you've got at least a few days to pick it up. And if you're new to the series, then the entire game plays out as a series of memory flashbacks, or, well, they're like tall tales really, told by someone in a bar. But it makes for some brilliant old school Wild West shootouts. You'll be hunting down legendary outlaws like Billy the Kid, Pat Garrett and Jesse James. And the slow down, quick draw mechanic is very nice. It's a good game this, really nice port, gyro controls, everything you'd want, and now on sale might be the time to go and grab it. I'm going to stick one to avoid in next, and it's Nickelodeon Kart Racers. Now don't get me wrong, it's not terrible, and it's 60% off at the moment, but really, I think there are just better games for the money out there. It lacked any life. With the characters and the IPs that they have, this could have been incredible, but unfortunately, the whole experience is just really flat and lifeless. And for us, it would be one to steer clear of. That being said, if you've got young kids that really probably won't mind whatever they play, then, you know, for a tenner, yeah, it's not for me, to be honest. Alright, so here's a game that your kids can enjoy. It's also cheaper at 75% off, and you can join them for the ride because you can do 1 to 4 player co-op. It's a beat 'em up from Cartoon Network called Battle Crashers. Now, it's not by any means the best beat 'em up in the world, it's quite simplistic, but it runs well enough, the performance is okay, and it has a dimension hopping grandpa in it who meets up with Gumball, Steven Universe, Finn, Mordecai, and Clarence, who band together to defeat the evil shard creatures. For this price, you can't go too far wrong, to be honest.
featuring all your favorite Cartoon Network shows and characters, including Uncle Grandpa, Clarence, Mordecai and Rigby, Finn and Jake, Gumball, and Steven Universe.
Next up is another relatively unknown title called Morphite from Blowfish Studios. I guess what this most reminded me of is like a No Man's Sky light experience. You travel to several different planets. It's mostly played out in the first person view. There is an eShop demo if you want to give this one a try. Look, it's not the best game ever, and it's, in my opinion, nowhere near as good as something like No Man's Sky. But if you're after just a bit of that exploration and escapism, then you could go further wrong than this one. You start out inside Myra's vessel, and players engage in random encounters with real-time space combat. There's also trade with other travelers across the galaxy, with a star system map to make traveling around quite easy. It will appeal to a certain type of player, and any space nerds like me will certainly get their money's worth out of this.
I am flying through the universe. I convinced myself that Morphite is real. Control my destiny.
This is a Glen shout out, and it's called Super Blackjack Battle 2 Turbo Edition, and it's 85% off, taking it down to 99 pence. Following an invitation by the owner of the largest casino in Las Vegas and the godfather of the local most influential crime family, each character will face the other participants in a face-off game of cards. Now, while that might not sound very fun, it's really quick. It's a very quick game that's also quite addictive. It's based on Blackjack, but in a strange twist, it actually tributes to a well-known arcade fighting game from the 90s. You can play with up to 4 friends as well. And well, yeah, for less than £1, I would say, especially from what Glen has told me about this one, it's well worth picking up.
Super Blackjack Battle 2!
Then we've got the final station from Tiny Build Games. I remember playing this way back when the Switch, was quite in its infancy really, but this had a lovely concept. It's a post-apocalyptic adventure about travelling through this dying world on the train, and it's played out over 5 different chapters. As you stop at different stations and get off, you'll very often encounter different zombies, but the interesting thing is you have to kind of maintain your train, so you have to do work on it, as well as picking up survivors along the way, and then scavenging each time you stop. You can then take the things you've scavenged and sell them to buy upgrades for your weapons and gear. It's just a really cool title, this one, and one that maybe not all of you know about. This sale ends on, I believe it's the 9th, so you've got a little bit of time. A game that probably doesn't need a great deal of introduction, but one which, for whatever reason, I can't really put my finger on it. It just didn't really appeal to me. I don't know whether it was the 2.5D art style. It's the new Mega Man 11 game on the Switch. Now, this is currently 50% off, which is probably the biggest drop it's seen, and it takes it down to, a price that I'm happy to pay, to be honest. It's around about £11. Now, I'm surprised by how good it is. It just didn't get much hype, and despite kind of everyone going crazy before it launched, when it dropped, it was like, oh. And perhaps that's down to just not enough risk taking, but still it's a solid game. There are very familiar controls and boss fights, and it feels slick. And I would say if, like me, you just weren't really sure about it, maybe now's the time to have a look and see if you want it. And we'll finish up with possibly one of, maybe the top 2 of my favourite games on this entire list, and one that doesn't get nearly enough attention. This will be my go out and buy it game. It's Door Kickers Action Squad from Killhouse Games. It is brilliant. It plays out almost like an arcade pixel version of Rainbow Six Siege. It's really quick gameplay, it's couch co-op, it's online co-op as well. You can choose different classes, like the more silent ones that can pick doors, or you can breach and clear, throw grenades. It's very, very nice, very fun indeed, and there are 84 different levels to play through and 60 weapons. It's one of my favourite games on Switch, and I would say pick it up before the sale ends on the 5th. So there we have it for this week. Once again, it's a very good one for sales. The Switch is really one of the best platforms I've seen for sales. I know it can be a real quagmire of rubbish to work your way through, but we really hope these videos help you. Leave a like and comment and do all that good stuff. We really do appreciate everyone here. And as always, well, thanks to the patrons. And for all things Switch, all the time, you know what's coming. Keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya!